Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.
Welcome to Peter and Roughie's Football Show, sponsored by Arnold Clark. I'm Peter Martin. Alan Rough, Tam McManus and Charlie Adam are here with us today. Don't forget to hit the follow and the share on the Facebook page. And you can also enter our competition on the Facebook. Probably your last chance to win a Diego Maradona canvas, an Xbox and an iPad, all in the one prize. Good luck with that. On our YouTube channel, you can hit the subscribe button as well. The guys have got lots to talk about. Let's get into it. And of course, while we're talking about it, Tam can sway from side to side in his little box there to make sure he's in the centre. It's just another.
Am I squinting? Am I not?
I know you're okay. It's a joy watching you do this. It really is. Listen, I was going to put one thing to you. I know we all like to do our predictions. Just to make it really interesting, and just give me your thoughts on this, guys. With the predictions on the final day of the season, should we make it predictions for all of the divisions on the final day, just to really spruce it up? I just wonder, Robbie, Tam?
No, I'm leading. No, I want less games as possible. Have you Robbie been in the rain chat?
No, I haven't. No.
Why don't you just go for double points?
Great idea.
Well, that's
double points,
Charlie. Final day, double points.
Absolutely.
You
can't move the rule book midway through the season.
Listen, we're not moving, and I just
IFAB do what they want.
Exactly. I just thought I'd ask the question. Anyway,
you can change the rules when there's two executive directors on the board.
Robbie, you know all about that. Just out of curiosity, I mean, a lot of people are looking, no point in asking Charlie, but Robbie and Tam, I am absolutely, just so looking forward to getting to a hairdresser's, because the hair is a riot. But you two look as if there's been a wee bit of jiggery-pokery. That's all I'm saying to you. Now, Robbie and Tam, I need you to be honest here. Has there been anybody near your noggin, Robbie?
Yeah, I have my daughter. My daughter comes over with her scissors and has a wee hack. And I have to say, I'm quite pleased. Makes it a lot better than what it is. But there obviously are some bits that shouldn't be out. But I'm not going to say it here, am I? I'm just going to say, well done, Lucy. Well done, Lucy. Yeah. Great job. Fantastic.
Well, you never know. Maybe in this for next season, if we're still on the show, you might see a full head of hair soon.
Oh, is this a change?
You get a transplant? You get a Rooney?
Possibly.
Wow. That is an interesting
breaking news.
I'll tell you right now.
You go from pure bald to that.
Yeah.
You get cuttings.
Robbie, we've got to work really hard to make sure we're on next season, because I just can't wait to see him with the big giant hairstyle.
Get a couple of RC Nesbitt strands.
That's brilliant. Listen, I watched it last night, 2-2. I was happy with the point, Roughie. What about you?
No, I'm Mr. Grumpy again. I think it's ridiculous. That's two points dropped at home. Don't dominate games. We've got quality players in there. We've got 6 players playing in the English Premiership. We can't grab a hold of a game and make it difficult. I was just disappointed, Peter. If you're going to qualify in these competitions, you have to win your home games. We know second place we're going for, so that's 2 points dropped for me. Puts the boys under pressure for the Israel game. The other two have got quite easy games, the Faroes and Moldova. So we've got to really beat Israel over in Israel now. And it is, I just think we should be dominating game. I mean, they had some good individual players, but they weren't a great side. And I really do think we should start. If Stevie Clark keeps saying there's progression there, we should be beating these teams. We should be beating them at home at least. And that's not the case. And I told you yesterday, we've only won 2 games in our last 7 games. So for me, it's no progression, but it just puts pressure on us.
Charlie, to be fair though, I mean, I think maybe there are a lot of people had elevated Scotland to some sort of false position here. It's not as if we've suddenly started to set the heather on fire. We've broken our duck of waiting to get to a major championships. That's fine. We got that wee bit of luck. But we still are missing key points and the key bits of the jigsaw here. I thought Austria were technically better than us again.
Oh, listen, Austria are a better national team than us. They've got better players than us in certain positions, So I think in the end, I think it's a good point at home. Bouncing back twice from 2 goals. And we talk about dominating the ball. We don't have football players that can dominate the ball. We've got good individuals in, your McGregor. I want to see more from McGregor. I don't think he does enough for Scotland. I want to see him, you talk about him getting on the ball and passing it, and it's too simple at times. Pass forward. Control the game within that. McTominay, he's a good footballer. Pass it forward. These are the players that you expect to hang. I think somebody like a Billy Gilmore's got to come in and try and dictate the play for us. He's the best technical player that we have in how to manipulate the football. He passes it forward, passes it between the lines, and I think we have to find a way of getting him in this squad. Listen, Ryan Jack is a loss for us. I think he does a good job for Rangers, but we need somebody that's going to get control of the ball. At the moment, we've got nobody like that. Don't do it often enough, don't do it well enough. And, let's say, I can't remember last time Scotland dominated a football match. So it's been a long time. But in the end, I'll take a point against a good Austrian side.
I'm with Charlie, Tam.
Very negative in this show today. I thought it was a good point. I thought that to come back twice from a goal down, I think Austria are a good side. I think they're a really good side. I think they've got a good record. I think that we'll be judged. We need to beat the Faroe Islands twice. We need to beat Moldova twice. We need to beat Israel twice. I think if you can take maximum points out of after the 3 teams, I think we'll be second at worst. So I think that if we need to go and beat Israel, you need to go and beat the Faroe Islands next 2 games. 7 points out of 9, not a bad start. But listen, I thought we started poorly. I thought Austria started better. But I thought towards the end of the game they looked stronger and we could have went on and get a winner. But a point's a decent result against a good Austrian team, so I was quite pleased.
Here's what we learned last night from the game.
Here's 5 things we learned from Scotland's 2-2 draw with Austria in the opening World Cup qualifier last night. 1. This team has resilience. It was the word manager Steve Clarke used after the full-time whistle, as his side showed character to come from behind twice to fight back and earn a point. Previous Scotland sides may have faded into a defeat here, but this crop of players seem to have belief in themselves to overcome minor setbacks, and they never want to lose. 2. Armstrong fails to seize his chance. With Ryan Jack's injury and Callum McGregor's poor form, Stuart Armstrong had a chance to dominate the centre of the park, but he failed to do so. Armstrong was not poor, but he didn't convince his manager that he and John McGinn can work in the same midfield. Jack or McGregor certainly provide more balance. 3. McTominay must stay in midfield. The Manchester United man has excelled in the middle for his club and was moved out of the defence yesterday, delivering a man-of-the-match performance. He adds physicality and aggressive passing at the base of the midfield, and he must be utilised there at the summer's Euros. 4. Dykes needs to offer more up top. Lyndon Dykes was a revelation in the second half of 2020, playing out of his skin as a target man for the rest of the team to bounce off and get them up the park. He lacked sharpness against Austria and looked a little bereft of confidence, as you would expect of a man who scored 1 in his last 22. 5. The defence is settled. Grant Hanley and Jack Hendry returned to the team after a 3-year absence, and after a shaky opening 15 minutes, they both settled comfortably. Hanley is a more experienced and informed version of Declan Gallagher, whilst Hendry gives the right-hand side a ball player to replace now midfielder McTominay. Along with the outstanding Kieran Tierney, they should form the back 3 for Euro 2020.
Okay, Gabriel was doing really well there, Roughie, until that last part. Point number 5, I'm disagreeing with, because I think Kieran Tierney apart, we need to find another. Tierney's got to play. He's going to play central in that defence, but we've got to find 2 other central defenders, Roughie. Grant Hanley, no. Henry, I'm not going to judge right now, but I think we need to find a settled 3.
No, and I think their goal was a super header, but you would like to think that a decent centre-half would have put him under a wee bit of pressure. I thought it was a good goal. I think it's down the flank, particularly Steven O'Donnell's side. I know Steven likes to get forward, and quite rightly so. That's what we want of him. But there was areas down that side of the park that a really good side could have ripped us apart down that side, and the gaps were there for everybody. No, I get where he's coming from. This team don't know what it's like to lose. I would like to think as soon as you put a Scotland jersey on, that's what you should be feeling. I just think, and I know the guys are saying that Austria are a good side. They are a good side. But we've got to be better than that at home. We've got to be, instead of... If John McGinn hadn't scored that goal, we'd be sitting here doom and gloom. We'd be sitting here, we wouldn't be saying all the things that we're saying just now. 4 minutes we were away for getting beat 2-1 at home. And it's okay getting the goal. Fortunately, I don't know about you, but fortunately VAR wasn't in charge, because I think his right arm would have been offside. But we got away with it, and we should have had a penalty. There's no doubt about that. But they should have had a goal as well. I don't think it was a blatant foul. And Tierney, I thought the boy did well. So we're scraping draws and scraping. I would like to see us winning. I'd like to sit on the couch one night and go 1-0 up, 2-0 up, sit there quite comfortably and go, hey, we're progressing here. We're starting to dominate games, and we're starting to look comfortable. And Tam's saying, oh, we're going to beat Israel over in Israel. We haven't beat Israel in Israel. So that's a worry. If we don't win that game, they're going to be points clear us. And at this stage, it's always the same with us. We're always trying to catch up.
Yeah, and of course the other thing about it, which is really worrying me, is when Roughie says, I mean, his right arm was offside.
That's VAR.
The game, I know the game's gone mental. His right arm's offside. Listen, another thing about it, I think you're taking it to the nth degree, because your expectation must be higher than mine. I don't think we're a great side right now. I think he's trying to make Scotland difficult to beat. I don't think there's enough flair, as Charlie says, going forward. You want them to be able to try and pass the ball forward instead of this suddenly going back the way, the fullbacks at times play the ball back. But the other thing I was going to say is, Charlie, yes, we should have had a penalty in the match, but over and above that, Charlie, you're looking up front. Dykes. It's a horrible shift. It's a horrible shift on your own. I'd like us to be a bit more adventurous and play two up front and occupy the Israelis at the weekend.
Yeah, I think so. I think he needs somebody up beside him. I don't think he can be there up on his own. We've got to try and find a partnership, and especially in these type of games against Israel, against Austria, we need to get somebody up close to them. And if that is Shea Adams and Dykes together, then let's go and have a go. And instead of being a bit negative, I'm with you, Peter. I think we have to give two up front and go with that and see hopefully that they can strike a partnership. Because listen, I thought the big man when he first came into it, he done brilliant. And his form dipped a little bit. QPR, he scored a couple of goals in the last couple of weeks, but he just feels a little bit off at the moment. And we need to try and get a partnership together going into the Euros, because at the end of the day, that is what we're all looking forward to, is the European Championships as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like the comment from Terry, who says Roughie needs a Snickers bar.
He does. He's very grumpy, isn't he?
Oh, he's unbelievable. He's
My
like
God.
Elton John. He's like Elton John eating a Snickers bar. It's as simple as that. Listen, Steve Clarke, the Scotland manager, happy with the fight that Scotland showed.
Resilience, but also a little bit of quality as well. I thought it was a good game between two good teams. I think when you have to come back twice from a goal down, it shows the character that's in the squad. It shows that they want to be successful for their country. And although we wanted 3 points, at the end of it, having been behind twice, then I think we'll take the point and we'll move on to the next game.
Yeah, I mean, let's be fair about it, Roughie. That 90 minutes is the game. Whether you score the equaliser in the 50th minute or the 4 minutes from time, it's fine. It's like you saying, if we hadn't scored the 4 goals to go 4-0 in front of Celtic, then Celtic might have won the League Cup in 1971. We're battling away, and we got the point against a team that I think are better than us.
No, I just think at home, I don't think we were in the game to 35 minutes. And if you're playing at home, you've got to show some kind of authority. We only came into the game when their goalkeeper hit the ball against Dykes, and then I think somebody else had a shot. That was it in the first half. And I just think at home with the players that we've got, and half of them are playing top-class football, we should be having a right go at teams. I think we're too apprehensive. We're frightened to go a goal behind, and we don't want to go, gung-ho. But you can go gung-ho and you can still defend when you lose the ball. I just think at home, I'm only talking about at home, You know, that I think we've
Who
got
do you want?
players that should be.
Who do you
should
want?
go in-
Who are the players, Roughy? Tell me a player
I want
that
I
can
want
go
to see
past a
two
man or beat a
strikers.
man.
No,
Oh,
I want
I
to
get that.
see
We all
two
do.
strikers up front. You
Roughy,
know,
we all do.
that's
But
that's the point I'm making.
we all do. But who's going to take the ball and go past a man? We haven't got a player like that. Maybe James Forrester a push sometimes will get an angle and have a run. We don't have any players that have got unbelievable skill that can go past a man, drop a shoulder. There's no John Robertsons out there, Roughy.
All I see in our team just now are corner kicks and free kicks. That's the only two places we're dangerous. We don't cut open teams. We don't put balls into the box. We open play. That's the only way we score goals is free kicks and corners.
And why do you think that is? Well, I was going to say to you, listen, let's not take, I mean, in case it sounds negative, Tam, John McGinn's goal was a great goal.
Great goal. Listen, I think it's a fantastic goal, great technique. You know, and if that was scored by anybody else in Europe, a Dutch player or a Belgian player would be raving about it. So you've got to say well done to John McGinn for the finish. Roughie keeps going about the home. You know, we're at home. There's no advantage at home. There's no fans. You know, there's no Hampden Row. There's no to roar you on. The supporters getting behind you and intimidating the opposition. You know, there isn't, apart from travelling, and they all travel first class anyway, you know, and getting best hotels. There's no home advantage in Europe now. It's just a closed door game. Could be anywhere. So I don't get Roughie when he's saying about the home advantage, because there's none.
No, but there's no home advantage either, Charlie, because you haven't got the players that Roughie's talking about to go past people. I mean, in Roughie's last period of playing for Scotland, this is where we are. And I think Roughie was probably at the last World Cup where, or maybe 1990 I'll include in this as well, where we had players that were unbelievably skillful. In that squad in 86, Roughie, you still had Strachan in there. You had Charlie Nicholas. You know, Stevie Archibald was playing in European Cup finals, Charlie. You know, we had a glut of really good, skillful players that could go past people. We don't have that anymore. We've got to work out a way not to lose goals and then sneak chances and score.
Listen, we've got three players at top clubs, you know, and that's where it is. And we have to just find the solution to trying to win football matches. It's difficult. It is difficult at international level because, you know, even the Austrians 24th, 23rd in the world, and you know we are 48th in the world. So there is a gap, and you know, yeah, we want to. I don't say we're going to dominate games. I just want to see us try and express ourselves a little bit more and be on the front foot and have a go and you know and do things like that. But we got to remember that these Austrians are a good side, and you know they are probably a better national team than us in what they've got. So in the end, I think we are going to be happy with a point because, like Tam says, there's no home advantage. You know, we've got no supporters at the moment, so we have to try and find a way. And in the end, a point against Austria. Listen, it'll be a tough game away from home, but even going to Israel, it's going to be a tough game. And you know, I think if you can take a point going from Israel, because they caused us problems in the games before in the qualification for the Euros. So yeah, it's going to be difficult.
I think you've got to be Israel, Porter. Sorry. I think you've got to be Israel.
Absolutely, Tam.
You've got to be Israel twice,
Absolutely.
or else we're not getting in the top two. Simple, because I can't see us beating Denmark and Austria.
But we struggled at home against Israel.
I know they're a decent team. I know, and they'll be thinking the same thing about us. But we've got to take 6 points off of Israel to have a chance to qualify. For me, anyway.
Listen, I mean, I agree with Roughie on this. It's not a given. I mean, I honestly don't think it's a given for us to go to Israel and win. I think it's going to be tight again because we're not better than Israel. I mean, if anything, it's always tight in the games we've played against them. Ronnie Porter made a good point here. Says Scotland had no shots on goal in the first 45 minutes. We're a bang average team and we have been for many years. Well, Ronnie, I don't think anybody's disagreeing with you on that. I think you're spot on. When we get goals, we showed a bit of fight, and I think that's the thing that we've got to try and build on. The fact that he's building a team that, at this moment, even when it looks as if we're thinking, oh, there's a defeat staring us in the face, they battled away. John McGinn got a really good goal, despite the fact that John McGinn thought he'd nearly broken his neck scoring it.
Relieved I've not broke my neck attempting it. I think I was lucky. I thought I was offside. I think VAR down the road has got a lot of negatives, but the positive is you're trained and you're used to just putting it in the back of the net and deal with it after. But a little bit unexpected, but delighted to kind of end my goal drought, both for
club and country. It's been a while since I've scored, so a relief in that sense, and a relief to grab a point in the end, because I don't think we deserve to get beat.
Yeah, Tam, I like him. I thought Tierney was magnificent last night.
Yeah, listen, I don't think John McGinn had a great game, to be honest. I think once he moved a little bit further forward and supported, the striker, I think he had a little bit more influence in the game and a fantastic goal, but I don't think he was great. Kieran Tierney he's a Rolls Royce for me at the minute, and there was always an argument with Robertson and Tierney. For me, Tierney's a better player right at this moment in time. Tierney's a better player than Robertson. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be the case in the future, but right now, Kieran Tierney, every time I see Kieran Tierney for Arsenal or Scotland, he's absolutely incredible, and he was brilliant last night again. Left-sided centre-back, left back, left wing-back, outstanding player. So I think you've got to, as Charlie said, we've not got a lot of players playing at top clubs, but in terms of Tierney and Robertson and McTominay, you've got to build your team around these guys, because they're operating at the highest level at big clubs. So no, I was impressed with Kieran Tierney. I thought he was different class.
I think he epitomised what you were talking about, Charlie. He actually thought about going forward. He wanted to drive forward and suddenly put a bit of fear in the Austria players, who suddenly had to turn and think, oh, we're going backwards here.
There's listen, Peter, it's when you got a centre-back in Tierney who likes to step in, can step in and play, it opens the game up. It allows people to go and get in between the lines, and he looks for that because he's got players like Aubameyang who he plays with every week. He's got Saka who plays with, good top players that understand the game. And when he's come to international level, he's not playing with that player and who think the same as him. So it is difficult, but you could see the difference to the three of them. And I see it with Robertson, Tierney and McTominay, the levels that they're at compared to everybody else. So, listen, Robertson, he's playing the team with Liverpool at the moment that are having a tough time. Is his confidence low? Possibly. But, they're three great players. And like I say, it's good to see Kieran Tierney back playing to the levels that he can, because he had a tough start at Arsenal. And, he's obviously nail uncertainty to play at the Euros. So it's good to see. And hopefully, he can get a combination with another two centre-backs in there that he can play well with.
Yeah, based on what Tam has just said, Roughie, is Tierney the better left-back than Robertson?
I think Tierney's a better defender than Robertson. I think Robertson, from halfway into the other 18-yard box, is very good. But as Charlie says there, he's got quality players in there that can make bad balls look good. I find it hard to split them. If it was defensive attacking, I'd probably sway with Tierney. I don't think Robertson can defend the way Tierney does.
Yeah, but I don't understand that. Robertson was the best left back in the world last year. So how does that go around that all of a sudden he's, if he's the best left back, nobody should be able to get near him. He's gone through a tough period. For me personally, I still think he is the best left back in the world. I just think that he's in a group of players at the moment that are struggling, and confidence is low, and it seems to be obviously coming into the Scotland thing. But for me, I think he's a top player.
Well, I don't think anybody's doubting that. I agree with the argument on it. It's a good argument. It's a great argument. The only thing that we don't have here right now is a pint of lager and a wee chaser just to help this argument along. To be perfectly honest with you, in a pub with the lights flashing. But to be perfectly honest with you, it's a good argument, because you can be the top player in the world, but you're just off it. And I think he's off it at the moment. But Tierney's getting better and better. We need more of them. We need more positive players. We have to have a go at it. Steve Clarke thinks if we show the same spirit that we did against Israel last time around, we might be okay.
I think, listen, if we can keep the performance levels high, normally results follow. So I think if we can play the way we played the last time we were in Israel, where I thought we played well, lost 1-0, couldn't get the goals. Tonight I thought it was a good performance against a really good team, and if we can take that level of performance forward, this team can keep improving. I'm 100% convinced this team can keep improving, and obviously we go to Israel with the intention of getting 3 points.
Well, you've got to buy into his words on that. You can only listen to what he's got to say and say, okay, we'll judge you on the game coming up, Tam. If he thinks they're going to keep improving, then we've got to survey that evidence and give him the time to prove that to us.
Yeah, listen, I think this game coming up against Israel is so crucial in this group. I think that, as I said, I think Austria at home and away, Denmark home and away, they're tough games. If you can split them, if you can get a couple of draws, and don't get beat. I think that'd be great. But I think the teams you've got to beat is Israel, the Faroe Islands and Moldova, and that has been your Achilles heel, I think, over the last 20 years. I think the case in point was Georgia when we lost, and we had a right good chance of qualifying. We could beat 1-0 over there. So you've got to take care of the games that people maybe expect you to win. And I think that's been a problem for Scotland for a long time. So I think you've got to go to Israel, be positive. I think I agree. I watched the 1-0 game. Scotland were the better team that night. They just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net, and then Israel got a goal late on. So I think that if you go with the same performance and you can go and get 3 points there, and I think if you can get 7 points at the first 9, I think that'd be a great start for Scotland.
Yeah, if you can, Tam, and I don't know if you've read, sometimes we go over the rules on a regular basis, but if you can, pay attention. Try not to mention Georgia. That's where Roughie and I nearly died at the hands of 3 Russian agents in the back of a Skoda car. It makes us twitch every now and then when we think we're never going to make it, We just looked at each other and thought, and I remember Murdo MacLeod uttered a word to me. It stuck in my head on a plane. You never want a plane to crash with lots of superstars on it because you'll never get a mention. And I remember sitting in the back of the car, Tam, thinking, wow, if we both are killed by these Russian agents, the headline will be Alan Rough sadly passes away with another guy in the car with him. It's as simple as that.
Did Roughie save you of his World Cup stories?
No.
It's the scariest taxi ride ever. Torrential rain. Yeah. I mean, torrential rain. No window wiper in the car. And a crack. Yeah, crack for one window. A crack for one end to the other. It was just
it's a mad
ridiculous.
Place. Bleach is a mad place, isn't it?
Yeah. 2 guys with leather coats and no necks. That's all I'm saying to you guys. I was just waiting in the.
Yeah, I got up the first morning and I opened up the curtains and there was a tank coming up the road. I don't want to be here.
Anyway, apart from anything else, I think the last time. We're not going to be able to go anyway. I think the last time I was in Israel, Roughie, I don't know if you were there. I think Rangers were playing against Tel Aviv.
I was playing.
Yeah, do you remember it, Charlie?
There.
Yeah,
I remember it. Yeah, I was there.
It was absolutely fantastic. City, fantastic! It was great. So yeah, I think that's the last time. But you're right. We need to go there. I'd like to be positive. What would you like to see? I mean, apart from 2 up front, he's not going to tinker with it too much, Charlie, is he?
No, I don't think he will. I think maybe 2 holding with McGregor. I think McGinn will probably play a little bit higher, and McGregor will probably come in for Armstrong. I think that'll be maybe the only change. The rest, I think, will stay the same. But I think we should get with the 2 up strikers, get 2 strikers up and have a go and get the 2 big lads. Shea Adams and Dykes up there ruffling a few feathers. And see what happens.
Yeah. Are you predicting a win, Charlie? You think we can get it?
I'm going to go for 1-1.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't forget, Charlie's available for kids' parties and birthdays as well. He's just a great guy to hang around, just to lift everybody.
Charlie, enough of the day. Oh my God!
The 2 of them.
Listen, it's Friday. I'm suspended tomorrow. I can't do it.
Are you suspended?
Suspended, aye. Too many bookings.
That's Dundee equipment.
That's exactly. Anyway, apart from anything else, we'll try and cheer them up, Tam, before we get to the end of the programme because it's glum and glummer there. Okay, here's a look at the. Do you think we can win, Robbie, Sunday?
Well, the last time I played in Israel when we qualified for one of the World Cups, and we did win 1-0. A fantastic goal by a cross from the right for John Robertson, and Kenny Dalglish slotted it in the back of the net. It was a comfortable 1-0 win, so I'm expecting a 1-0 win. If we're progressing, as we're being told,
nothing's a comfortable 1-0 win.
We're progressing and we're resilient. I expect us to win 1-0.
1-0.
I will be sitting here on Monday with a smile on my face if it's 1-0. If it's anything less than that, I'll be Mr. Grumpy again.
Yeah, I'm taking 1-0 Tam. Still a win.
I've got to agree with you boys. I just think that it's going to be very, very tight, and Scotland need to keep a clean sheet because I don't think they'll score 2. So I think the only scoreline that we can win by is 1-0. So
Yeah.
1-0. Come on.
Just out of curiosity, and I'm going to, I'll throw 3 or 4 at you, and then this is just a wee bit of fun, and I'm sure lots of the people who watch the programme might be able to come up with others. But John McGinn's goal, it's not often you see an overhead kick, so it was a good goal, great goal, and he should be very proud of it. And when he scored it last night, I thought, great. I did like Roughie think he was offside, but he got the benefit of the doubt and he scored the goal. So there's John McGinn's overhead kick, James McFadden's goal in Paris, Dalglish's goal against Belgium, the second one, which is world class, and Dalglish's goal against Spain. Is there any others that are up there that you think are worthy in our top Scotland goals of all time,
Yes.
Charlie? Oh, Tam, go on.
Go on, Tam. Go on, Tam.
Kevin Gallagher against Austria at Parkhead.
God, I can't remember that one. Was that a good one?
McCoy's in the Euros against Switzerland.
McCoy's in the Euros is a good one, Charlie. Yep, that was a belter as well. Roughie, can you think of any?
Probably Archie Gemmill in the World Cup and Argentina.
Why did you ask him, Peter? He's just going to get back to the World Cup again.
and of course, listen. I should have started with Archie Gemmill because it's the best goal ever. But I never thought you were going to.
No, I think anyway. James McFadden scored a fantastic goal at Hampden for the halfway line, where he went by 3 or 4 players.
Right.
I can't remember who it was against, but it was at that time James McFadden was our star. He was the guy who was winning games single-handedly, and I remember there was a fantastic goal that day at Hampden.
Yeah, there's a great one there that's just reminded me. Chris Bain has just sent us a message, and well done, Chris. Charlie Nicholas's goal against Switzerland. I don't know if you remember it, by the way. He controlled it with one.
I remember.
His right boot and then left foot in the same move, boom, into the roof of the net. What a goal it was. Well done, Chris. Thanks for that. That reminded me of that. Yeah, listen, it's always nice to finish off there with something positive. Do you think Scotland can get the result at the weekend against Israel? Give us your thoughts on that. Listen, well done to Steve Davis. He's now equalled Peter Shilton's record for British international caps, which is fantastic. Of course, he'll break it if he plays against Bulgaria on Wednesday, which is brilliant, Charlie.
Oh, it's phenomenal, Peter. I just think a lad that's, just dedicated his life to being a football player, and the rewards he's getting now that at the back end of his career is phenomenal. Obviously, winning that title for Rangers has been a tough period for them as a thing, but to get to Northern Ireland to a Euros and things like that is unbelievable. But to get to 125 caps, it just shows the fitness and how he's looked after himself is just phenomenal, and he deserves every credit that he gets because, he's a top professional and, has been Rangers probably, you would say, best player this season. Him and Tavernier have been phenomenal. So fair play to him, and hopefully he can beat that in the week or at the weekend.
Yep, brilliant lad, great example, an ambassador to any young footballer who wants to aspire.
How long do you think Steve Davis can go for, Peter? Do you think he can get to 147?
I'm not really going to get into that gag, but if you're going to use that in the after dinner circuit, you're going to have a long hard look at yourself. By the way, you will be at that level with Roughie, and Roughie knows what level he's at. If he's going to go with that gag, Roughie, he's going to find it tough to get the gigs coming in once COVID's out. That's brilliant. Anyway, apart from anything else, Ian Barraclough did mention something, Tam, which goes on the underlying point that you were making. Quite a lot of people think because he's of a certain age that he's nearing the end, not according to the Northern Ireland manager.
Any questions about Steven Davis were put to bed, hopefully. Please stop trying to retire him because he was awesome in the middle of the park. He didn't look out of place at all, as I knew he wouldn't do. So, no, again, stop trying to retire him.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes you've got to savour a player, Charlie, for as long as possible, especially if he's still strutting his stuff, and he was outstanding.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you say, he's been brilliant for Rangers in that midfield in the league, but also in Europe as well. You know, he's the control. He dictates the pace of the game for Rangers, and when they're under a bit of pressure, he's got that calmness to link the play. And you know, speaking back to the manager at the start, after about a couple of windows, I knew that he was coming in the door, and that was a big thing, was that he needs somebody that can go and link it from defence into midfield into the strikers, and he's the one, like you say, that can pass it into Kent, can get it into Hadji and get them on the half turn. So he's been brilliant for them, and you know, to get to 125 caps, like you say, fair play for his family, you know, supporting him with that as well, and the dedication to turn up every camp, and you know, it's a wonderful achievement.
Yeah, superb. Apologies to a couple other people who've mentioned some great Scotland goals. Dave Neary's goal against Brazil, the one that upset them, and they eventually hammered 4 past a goalkeeper who was just out of his depth that day, to be perfectly honest with you. But Dave Neary, I think it does a disservice calling it a toe poke. It was sensational. And of course, let's not forget one of Tam's old mates. Tam, you're a disgrace, by the way. You're sitting there pontificating about certain goals, and you forgot Griffiths' goals against England.
Griffiths, the 2 free kicks. Great goals.
Either one.
I'm talking about
Either
film
one
play,
was a
but
good goal.
you've got to be film play.
Okay then. So sorry about that, Lee. If you're watching, your goals are not. They don't mean anything.
Hopeless.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, apart from anything else, talking of midfielders that still strut their stuff in their later years, we have one on the programme who's still strutting his stuff and a joy to watch. But the other one decided that he's going to wear a red strip next season. We all knew it was coming. He's confirmed it yesterday. And of course, the Celtic fans coming to terms today with the fact that Scott Brown, their captain, he spent 14 years at Celtic, and he'll be heading up to Pittodrie. Here's some of those special moments that they enjoyed.
Celtic captain Scott Brown has signed a pre-contract at Aberdeen, but let's have a look back at his 5 top moments at the Parkhead club. 1. Brown was voted man of the match in the 2009 League Cup final at the age of 23, which Celtic won 2-0 against Rangers after extra time. He was subsequently named the Player of the Year for the entire 2008-9 season. 2. Brown became captain at the age of 25, assuming the armband under manager Tony Mowbray. He would go on to skipper the club to 20 trophies, being the leader of the side for over a decade. 3. In 2012, Brown helped guide the Hoops to the league title, their first in 4 years and his first as captain. He came back from a serious ankle injury and was named Player of the Month for January, and he put in some memorable performances, including scoring in the Old Firm. 4. Brown reinvented himself under manager Brendan Rodgers, controlling games from in front of the centre-halves, delivering an invincible treble in Rodgers' first season. A year later, the treble was completed again, and Brown was named Player of the Year, becoming just the second man to lift the award twice. 5. In 2020, Brown lifted an unprecedented quadruple treble as Celtic beat Hearts at Hampden in December. The trophy ended a period of utter dominance for the club and put Brown's trophy haul up to 22. With the Scottish Cup still to play for this season, he will hope it isn't his last.
Yeah, Tam McManus, you played alongside Scott Brown at Hibernian. Can you sum up your feelings on Scott Brown now that he's confirmed he'll be heading to Aberdeen?
Listen, I wish him the best of luck, Peter. You know, I've known him since he was a boy. Obviously, he came through the ranks at Hibs, and he's never changed. I give that. He's incredible humility. You know, you look at all those trophies that he's won. I read a stat the other day that every 28 games for Celtic, he's won a trophy. You know, you get people like me who have never won anything in 17 years in football. So I think for that, you know, the Lisbon Lions will rightfully be revered forever, and they're on a different platform. But I think underneath that, Scott Brown is a Celtic legend. I think he will go down forever in a day as being a Celtic legend when you look at what he's won. It's not only his class on the park, Peter, I think it's his class off the park. And we've spoke about it many times. He helps a lot of people with charities, you know, sending videos, strips, fundraising, you know, and he never asks for anything for it. Or you never hear him boasting about it. You know, he's very humble. So, no, listen, I think he's a terrific professional, and Aberdeen have won a watch getting him up there. The Celtic fans are rightfully, I think, devastated that he's leaving. I think he's still got time. He's still had time at Celtic, but you know, for his own career, I think it's the right move. He can go and play under Stephen Glass, who he knows well, and he can maybe get into the coaching side of it. The only thing that I am disappointed about is he doesn't get the send off that he deserves from the Celtic supporters. He doesn't get 60,000 at Parkhead, you know, screaming his name and doing a lap of one of his kids, because for what he's done at Celtic over the last 14 years, he thoroughly deserved that send off.
Yeah, here. I think you're absolutely right with that point. The work he does in the background, I think, is something well worthy of mentioning. Lots of players do that. Lots of players do indeed not try and not hog the headlines and say I'm doing this or that. But he is, one of those players who goes above and beyond and understands what the role is as captain of a club of that stature. John Kennedy says he's irreplaceable. Peter Lawwell says he pulled out all the stops to try and get him to stay. Charlie Adam, the biggest problem I think Celtic have is trying to replace a player of his calibre and stature.
Yeah, and it's not just the football side, Peter. It's off the pitch, which is going to be a huge loss to that dressing room. I felt that, especially his performance in the Old Firm game, showed that he still had the fight, still had the hunger to be a Celtic player and a captain, a leader, which he is. But there's sometimes in your career you think, okay, the club's going in a different direction. People that round you, a manager that you understand, you work with, coming in the door as new manager, chief exec's change, and somebody has a big relationship with Peter Lawwell. That's going as well, and he must just think, you know what, let's have a fresh outcome, a fresh outlook in a football sense, and a great opportunity to go to Aberdeen. I know there's Aberdeen fans that'll be not happy with it, but as soon as the first game and he goes in the 50-50 and he wins that and he wins his first game for Aberdeen, they'll be singing his name. They should be lucky and privileged to have somebody like that in the football club, because on the pitch he'll definitely improve their team, but off the pitch he'll make the younger players better. And every day he walks in, how he applies himself, the dedication he puts in to be a top pro, the young players should learn from that, and they'll be a better football club for having Scott Brown in the door.
I always thought, Roughie, that when Neil Lennon went to Hibs, there was a change in attitude, because Alan Stubbs had it to a degree when they won the Scottish Cup, but I thought Lennon took it to another level with them, whereas before they may well have been happy with draws. Lennon would look at it as if it was a body blow. He wasn't happy with anything less than the standards that he'd been brought up with. And I thought Hibs looked a more mean outfit with Lennon there and that real edge to them. Brown, I think, will deliver that to Aberdeen. I'm curious to see what type of player comes in at the back to try and supplement, what I think they've got as a diamond. Somebody took exception to me yesterday saying that I thought Scott Brown joining Aberdeen means Scott Brown's the best player at Aberdeen right now. Well, I wouldn't even retract that statement. That's how good a player he is. Probably got another year left in his legs, Roughie. But remember, this is an Aberdeen side that, have only won one Scottish Cup in 26 years, and quite simply should have won a lot more in the last 5 years.
Yeah, well, as already stated, I think it's a bold move for him. I can't understand why Celtic. I know the uncertainty at Celtic had a lot to do with him leaving, no manager, CEO leaving. I thought, with what he's done at the club, there should have been a place. Whatever manager came in there should be told, look, Scott Brown is going to be a coach here. He's still going to be active and playing as well. But again, Scott has made his own mind up to go up there. I think it's a bold move. I can't see them toppling Rangers or Celtic, so he's going up there to play for a team who's either going to be third or fourth. He's going to get a massive shock when he walks out of the doors at Parkhead and the support, the 50, 60,000, and walk into Aberdeen, who have got a support of 12 or 14, and a different stadium. So good luck to him. He's taking a massive, it's not a gamble. He's obviously made the right decision for him and his family. But honestly, when he walks out of Parkhead, he's going to get an eye-opener of what he's had in the last 14 years.
Yeah. Can I add to that? I disagree with that. He's come through at Hibs where he had nothing, probably getting on a minibus, driving to training grounds and all that. He'll be going up to Aberdeen in a nice training ground, and he'll be a mainstay in the team. He'll be an experienced player, but he'll be there to help the young players, like he is still there at Celtic now, helping young players progress, helping Callum McGregor, helping Ryan Christie. And Aberdeen are going to get the benefit of that for 2 years. So I don't think when you leave a big club like he's leaving Celtic, yeah, it'll be a shock because he's been there for so long. But as soon as he gets through that door at Aberdeen, he's an Aberdeen player. He'll be trying to win every game for Aberdeen, and he'll be trying to set a standard every day. So I don't think that all of a sudden because he's leaving Celtic, it's doom and gloom. You know, Scott Brown's got another 20 years ahead of him, coaching and playing and management, and that's what this is what it is. First step on the ladder, and hopefully he does well for it, because listen, he's gave Celtic a great service, and you know, it's time that, you know, he obviously made that decision as a family, and he wants to go to Aberdeen and with a guy who he trusts, and he understands and has a plan of what way they want to go forward.
Yeah, Alistair Andrews says, Peter, maybe he found out who the new manager is. I think that was one of the problems that he had. He didn't know who the manager was going to be.
No, that's not the case.
You know, yeah, that's the point. You know, that's
so Celtic don't know who the manager is. He doesn't know then.
No, he doesn't know.
No, I think that obviously, listen, we spoke about it. Peter Lawwell and Scott Brown are very, very, very close, and Scott Brown was, I think, wanting to know who the manager was going to be, and Peter Lawwell either didn't know or didn't want to tell him. I would think he didn't know. I don't think he would have let Scott Brown go without telling him who the manager was going to be, because he wanted to keep Scott Brown. So I don't think that Peter Lawwell does know who the manager was going to be over the last couple of weeks. So I don't think it's done. I think there might be, as Peter said for a number of weeks, there might be people in the background getting spoken to, but I don't think it's done. They know specifically who the manager is going to be at this point.
Well, I think the person that they are looking at will know exactly what's there. I don't think any new manager is going to come in right now. I think if the discussions, in my mind, I think Dermot will go about his business and know who he wants, and he goes about it methodically, phones them, sits them down in Barbados or wherever. But this might be a Zoom call, sits down and says, here's what's on offer. Who that man is, will they bring him in now? The answer is no. I think John Kennedy's taking it to the end, and I think the new manager at least will want to come in and empty some of the dross out, but he'd like some of it out before he gets there. And I mentioned to you guys, must have been 2 or 3 months ago, I had 19 players on a list. Here's the one that Gabriel's put together for us with regards to who could be heading out the door to follow Brown. Edouard, Barkas, Bolingoli, Ralston, Ayer possibly, Hendry, Beaton, Christie wants away, Shved, Rogic, Griffiths, Klimala, Bio still on the books, Ayeti, Laxalt, Kenny and Duffy will go back home, and El Yunusi will go back to his club as well. So, you know, you're looking there, Tam, at quite a big amount of players that, you know, could be heading out the door. Getting them all out is going to be difficult.
I've just seen your list there. The 5 current strikers at Celtic are on that list. So, I mean, if you're looking at that, you're thinking, we need a full strike force. You know, I think Edouard will be away in the summer. I think that is 100%. Right. He'll be away.
Okay. Contest the other ones with me.
No, I can't contest them. I'm agreeing with you. The only one I would say would be Ayeti, because they've obviously just signed him for big money, and he's not set the head on fire, put it that way. But maybe he needs just a pre-season, and maybe next season. I think it's maybe too early just to write him off. But the other two are definite. Klimala, not good enough. Never been good enough. And Griffiths, I just think he's been wasting his time over the last couple of seasons. So I think that I'd agree with you with all of them. Probably bar Ayeti.
Yeah. Griffiths is out of contract, isn't he?
Yeah.
They've got an option on him, but I don't think they'll take it. I think he knows he's going.
No, I don't think he will either.
Yeah. The other point I was going to make to you is, listen, the whole place has gone crazy, Charlie, on Roy Keane as Celtic manager. You know, and I know Alex McLeish said today in one of the papers that he thinks that the players could have a big say in who the Celtic boss is. Gee, you couldn't trust the players to try and win the league. Never mind coming up with who the boss is. I don't think any of them will have a say in there.
Players
at the end of the day,
shouldn't.
If they pick, no chance. If they pick
players should never have a say whatsoever.
Yeah, Charlie. See, for me, if they pick Roy Keane as the manager of Celtic, for me that means that there's no tactical or professional approach to how they're going to try and wrestle the title of Celtic. That's my view on it. If Roy Keane gets into that. Well, great for a noise up. But on a professional level, I might as well say to you, if Celtic appoint Roy Keane as the manager of the club, for me, that means that there is no real insight of a long-term view on how to return the club to the top of the table, because his record is not worthy of becoming Celtic manager.
No, I would agree. I don't think Roy Keane will be the Celtic manager. I think that they're going to go for more of a technical sort of type manager, where like somebody like a Brendan Rodgers, who they can give an opportunity to rebuild. This Celtic squad needs rebuilding from top to bottom. They need a director of football in that that knows what's going on. And like you said, 19 players. I couldn't disagree with any of them. I think you can get rid of the whole 19 of them and nobody'd bat an eyelid. I think they'll just try and recoup as much money as they can, and then say to whoever comes in, listen, there's 20 million plus you've got this, whatever you can sell, you can keep, to try and get us back to a level of trying to get near Rangers. But the Roy Keane one thing is, I think it's going to be I don't think it would be the right decision, but in Dermot Desmond, he whatever manager he wants to take, he can get and he'll choose, because it's his football club and it's his decision.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I throw a name in for a Celtic job that nobody's mentioned? I don't think. I think it would be good. I don't know if he'd leave, but
hold on. Right.
Pochettino.
Graham Potter at Brighton.
No chance.
Do you think he would leave Brighton to go to Celtic, Charlie?
No.
Would you take the wage drop?
That just shows you. That just shows you in football, isn't it? You wouldn't leave Brighton to go to Celtic. I think he's a fantastic manager.
Very good manager. No, I love the way he plays. If they had a proper number 9, they wouldn't be chasing relegation. I love the way he plays. Him and Billy. I think they've got the right way of playing it. Billy Reid, the way they've played, I really like it. But the money that the Premier League allows you to have, I don't think these top managers are only going to come if they're out of a job. I don't think he'd leave Brighton to come to Celtic.
Yeah, Roughie, it's amazing the amount of people on here who are mentioning Henrik Larsson's name. Just never goes away, does it?
No, that's just because of the player he was. It's nothing to do with managerial stuff. It's just
Bring him back
a legend
as a
at the club. If you could, but no, I don't think that's possible. That he's tried it a couple of times at clubs and it's just not been successful for him for whatever reason. But way too, not for Celtic, no.
Yeah. His son's doing well, isn't he? Is it Jordan? He's at Spartak Moscow. He's flying.
He's goal all week.
Imagine the pressure on him if he ever signed for Celtic. Try to live up to the king.
Absolutely, and of course the other thing about it as well is Moscow. It's a crazy place. You end up crashing your Ferrari if you go there, Tam. Just telling you.
Oh, big Gary.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the rest there. Big man's got some stories.
How rigorous was the Q&A that's coming? I wonder if the new Q&A that's coming up with Dave Cormack and the Aberdeen fans. I hope somebody says to him, how rigorous was your managerial selection process with the other candidates for the job, Tam? I wonder if anybody will ask him that.
Probably will, but I think Dave Cormack said that he'd interviewed a few other younger managers, so you've got to take him for his word on that.
Yeah. Okay. Can I ask you this?
Charlie? I'm just going to throw it in there. I know they did interview somebody for it. That's all I could say.
Yeah.
So
okay.
there was an interview process, and it was a tough process for what they wanted to be as Aberdeen manager. And that's what I heard from somebody. So I know that somebody was interviewed for it.
You've got a name.
Yes.
Okay, you can't give us that name.
No, I don't think so. No, because of what would you say? For any reason.
Okay.
You don't want to
for a reason, but I know that somebody's I know somebody was interviewing for it.
Snitches get snitches.
No, no friendship. No,
no. Yeah,
no, I know somebody was interviewed for it.
So it wasn't through friendship.
No, it wasn't a friendship. No, it wasn't somebody that I know.
Okay.
But through somebody
didn't like.
Somebody I know. Somebody I know. Somebody knows somebody.
It's a good question that Roughie had there. He says, if it was through friendship, because we've got a complete list here of all your friends, Charlie, on this bit of paper here. So we could have narrowed it down. Anyway, apart from anything else, I've got to ask you this, guys. What about, now this, you'll remember this, Tam, because I don't know if you played under him, but what about Robbie Neilson, who basically, I think, has said, support Man City if you want wins every week. Now, Tam, I think your old gaffer Bobby Williamson used to say when we were criticising him about the way Hibs played, he said, if you want entertainment, why don't you go to the pictures? Now,
Peter,
that's up there with it.
I can remember that day we played Partick Thistle at Firhill, and we won 1-0 and I scored the winner, and I was doing the press with Bobby after it, and we were in a wee porta cabin at Firhill, and Bobby came out with that line, and we got absolutely battered. We were hopeless. Nick Colgan had a worldie, and I nicked a goal and we won 1-0. But I remember that with Bobby Wilson. But Robbie Neilson, in terms of, listen, he just keeps saying things that's putting himself under more pressure. Hearts should be winning every game in the Championship. I'm sorry, they should be winning every game. They should be beating Borough Rangers. So you've got to set yourself higher standards. So I think that'll just fan the flames with the Hearts supporters, that comment.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's what Robbie Neilson released as a statement on this one, which is the Hearts fans are an unbelievable fan base, one of the best in the world. They've supported the club through thick and thin. This year has been very difficult for everyone associated with the club. We've had a demotion to the Championship, having to build back up, fans not able to go to games, and then Tuesday night's result. I think it's important we all stick together and get this club back where it belongs. It's going to be a twisting road with ups and downs along the way, but that's part and parcel of being a Hearts fan. If you want to go and win every week, then people go and support Man United or Man City. Teams like that, God, I thought he made that up as well. He said that teams like that, the crux of being a Hearts fan is that they stick together. Thank God I persevered to read the bottom line there, because I thought it was actually going to say the crux of being a Hearts fan is that you don't win every week. But he says they stick together. Listen, the Hearts fans don't need to be told about loyalty. They've been absolutely superb, but they're being shortchanged, Charlie.
Listen, it's hard because I'm playing against them, and I'm only going to give my personal opinion. I don't think that they're playing at the level that you'd expect from a team with the budget they have. And the players that they have, so it's got to be that. But listen, he has a right to come out and voice his opinion. But after the first two paragraphs, he should have stopped and never went further. And he's just adding fire, because every result that goes against them from now to the end of the season, even though if they think the league's won and they lose to, a Morton or a whoever from now to the end of the season, it's just going to add fire. And sometimes it's better just, doing your work and hoping that, they get it over the line, and then they can get through the summer looking forward to next season.
Yeah, Roughie, he's under pressure.
He's under pressure with that result. You can't get away from that. A team like Hearts shouldn't be going up there and getting beat for whatever reason. And the fans are every right to criticise it. But as we all know, football's a fickle game. In 10 days' time, the Hearts fans will be absolutely delirious when they win the league and they get promoted into the Premiership. But he knows there's a lot of hard work ahead of him. And if he goes into the Premier League with that team, he'll be back in the Championship as soon as you can say. So there's a lot of work to play, and the demands that these Hearts supporters will put on him. But fans are fans. Once they win the league, they'll be absolutely all over the place. And quite rightly so, because they've stood behind the club for a long, long time.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for you this weekend, Roughie, because it's Airdrie against Partick Thistle, so you're not allowed to go. Because obviously the directors are not allowed in.
Correct. But I can watch the game on stream as a privilege of being a director, yes.
Oh, have you got the stick?
Yes.
Did you get the one I sent you, Roughie?
Yeah. I've got one.
Have you got that secret code, Roughie?
I've got Tam's disc. Yes, I have as well. I've got one of Tam's discs.
one of Tam's Russian satellites.
How does Roughie know that Hearts are going to win the league in 10 days' time? Is he Mystic Meg? How do you know that?
I'm just like you saying we're going to beat Israel at the weekend. Just throwing it in there.
Yeah, I think the next few games, though, Tam, if they win them, they're then beyond getting caught. Right. So that's why Roughie he saw the headline somewhere.
You want to be putting your heart there on them?
Yeah, they can win the league in 10 days if they win a certain amount of games, and nobody will be able to catch them. But he's been able to ride out, one of the cup shocks. I certainly didn't see Brora Rangers. No harm to Brora Rangers. A lot of people on here think we've been unkind to Brora, not mentioning the fact that they did well to knock Hearts out. Absolutely they did, but they hadn't kicked a ball and hadn't played in 71 days, and were very rarely back together. So fair play to them, but Hearts should not be losing to Brora Rangers, simple as that. Charlie, we're gutted that you're not playing over the weekend. Is that a 2-match suspension?
No, just one. Combination of 6 bookings, Peter.
Right.
There's no cut-off point, so 6 bookings, and I'll be watching...
Yeah.
Charlie, you timed it nicely for international break.
I wish.
Yeah. By the way, the good thing about it is he's suspended, so that gives him time, Roughie, to be on Al Jazeera, 5 Live, BBC Scotland. He'll be on them all this weekend. He'll be doing more than Bookie Tam there.
Just watch at half time tomorrow night about 8:15. You'll see me at half time on BBC.
Oh, there you are. That's magnificent. And remember, by the way, if anybody, I don't know if you've got Sky Plus, Virgin, whatever you've got that allows you a little box to record things, it might be an idea for you to try and record and take a picture. Even now, if you take a still picture of the show, you'll be able to catch Charlie now in his Jason Statham look, because next season at the start on the show, he will have the Denzel Washington hairstyle. It'll be out there. It'll be fantastic.
That'll be brilliant.
Did you see me modelling the new third kit as well today?
Was that right? Wow. Have they gone back to the double XL?
Did every other Dundee player have COVID?
Absolutely not.
The model.
They know how they want jerseys sold. Gold.
Yeah. What colour? Gold. Is it?
Gold.
Is it a good one,
yeah.
Charlie?
No, it's in a partnership with the what do you call it? The Black Watch and things like that, with the armed forces. So it's just, we're going to wear it, I think, for one game against Morton, and it's just a partnership that the club have been doing for the last few years. And they asked for the best looking lads to get it sold.
Try not to jump in when Charlie's promoting the best looking lad to get it sold, Roughie. What were you going to say?
Get your gag. I'm going to get a gag. I'll try to get gagging. I'm saying that'll be a battle that game.
It's at home. It's not.
Oh my God, no!
I know what he's saying.
People pay £500 for that. That's incredible.
I know, honestly, it's incredible. People will be getting their money back. To be perfectly honest with you, a gold strip, a one-off Dundee strip, that'll be a collector's item, by the way, when if you're only playing it in one game. Absolutely superb. Well done, Charlie. Listen, apart from anything else, enjoyed the banter today. It's all about opinions. Some you like, some you don't. That's the joy of football. Thank you to lots of people who made some great points and contributed in a positive sense to our programme today. There's still time over the weekend just to get yourself involved in the competition on our Facebook page, a chance to win a Diego Maradona canvas, an Xbox and an iPad, all in our PLZ hat-trick competition. Hit the send message, follow the rules, and just register yourself in there, and you could win all 3 prizes. We'll announce the winner at the end of this month. Thanks to Tam, thanks to Roughie, thanks to Charlie Adam, and thanks to you for watching us. See you on Monday.